Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today, we find ourselves in Pie-land, where once peaceful creatures have morphed into spooky and dangerous ones. Now you'll be an apprentice monster hunter trying to collect the most points through slaying monsters, completing quests, and following your secret quest card. Attack of the Snacs is for 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up, and takes 60 to 90 minutes to play. Now it's being crowdfunded right now, so I'm going to show you how the game works and I'll see you on the other side. Now this is a Kickstarter preview, so all the art and components you see here are not final. These are prototypes. To see all the most up-to-date art and components, check the Kickstarter link in the description of this video. Now, at the beginning of the game, you get to select your character. Now, your first time playing, you can be one of these basic octopies, or on the back sides of these, you can be more advanced characters that give you some special asymmetric abilities. Now each player is going to get a player board. You're going to get dice and health specific to your character. You're also, through a drafting procedure, going to get an item and a trophy. We'll tell you how these work a little bit later. You're also going to get 2 secret quests, and you'll be able to select one of these. So I'm going to basically get, it says collect these symbols to get 1 point per symbol for every monster, quest, or trophy that we get. So these are trophies. So this is interesting because if this is here at the end of the game, it's going to get us a point because it has a claw on it. So over the course of the game, we're going to be focusing on monsters that have claws and things that have hooks to give us. Now this is a secret quest. Nobody would usually see this, but I have it down here so you can see. So this is one of the main ways to get points, is to fulfill your secret quest with claws or hooks. And again, we're going to be doing that by killing monsters that have this, completing quests that have these, or having trophies that have either of these. Now the game is played over multiple rounds. Here's the board set up, and each round's going to go through 2 phases, the wilderness phase and the town phase. Now in the wilderness phase, starting in turn order, this is a cool little pie first player marker, and going clockwise, players are going to place their workers on some of these spots in to see where they want to go to hunt monsters. Now each of these places have 2 spots as denoted here, and so there's some strategy to this, because this kind of tells you what monster you're going to find there. Now if you remember, one of our secret quests was to have the claw. So maybe we place our worker here, and we'll take this card and we'll try to find the monsters. Now once you know the game, players can fight monsters simultaneously, and we see that we are fighting a porcupine-apple. How cute, right? Now this is telling us what we need to do in order to defeat this monster. We're going to be rolling dice. Now remember, you start with a certain amount of dice. These are sort of normal dice. These ones are a little bit different. These are sort of some special dice there. But you'll be able to roll them, and you're trying to, if you want to defeat the monster, is to get all 4 of these here. So let's say we've rolled our dice and we have these. So we want 2 of these. Well, we have 1 of them. This is a wild symbol. So this can actually act for the second one of these. Now we have an item here that says if we roll 1 of these, it acts as 2 of them. Now this doesn't really help us here, but that's how items work. Now if we did use this, you would flip it, and then you'd have to do certain things later on in the round to refresh this. And we'll talk about that later. This says you need to take a wound if you want to fulfill that. So if we wanted to use this for that, the wild for that, this for this, and we want to take a wound, we could fulfill all 4 and defeat this monster. Now it shows us our health here, and we have 4, so we have 4 here. Now in the final version, they're going to be hearts like this, and on the back side of them, they'll be cracked, so you can tell, we can tell we have up to 4 health, but right now we only have 3 of them, so you'll track them with that. Now if you ever run out of health, and if you didn't have any abilities or anything that could help save you, you would be KO'd. You'd get one of these tokens. These are essentially -1 point. You'd get all your health back, but your wilderness phase for this round would be over. So if we matched all 4, we defeated this monster, which means we get to collect this monster. And again, because I have this, it's going to get us a point at the end of the game because of our secret quest. Now when you do that, you get to select any one of these symbols and get trophies for those. For example, we can get this one. Now these can be flipped any time, so again, this could be used at the end of the game to get a point for a claw, but we'll also see ways of spending these for other things. When they're on this side, you can actually spend them off your board to use that as if it was a dice symbol that was rolled. Now you can only have a certain amount of these jars, but certain items and certain effects will allow you to get more capacity for jars. However, let's say we didn't get all 4. Let's say we have 1, we have 2, and if we want to take a wound, we'd only have 3. We wouldn't have the 4th one there. If you want to, you can re-roll any dice, but you have to add one of these white dice to it. So let's say we wanted to keep this, but we want to re-roll all of these. We roll these, but we'd have to add a white die. Now, what's the white die do? Well, most of it's bad. You would take a wound. If you take a wound from this, you then remove this dice from the dice pool, but you might get a wild. If you use the wild, it also gets removed, but there's some blanks on there as well. So most of the time, this is going to be bad, but allowed you to re-roll to help mitigate some of the luck of the dice roll. So let's say we took the damage, we took the white die out. Now here we still only have 2 of them because we have one of these and one of these. And so if you didn't want to re-roll and take some of the dice and take another white die and such, instead of defeating the monster, we could still what's called study the monster. We could still take any one of the dice symbols that we matched. So in this case, again, we could take this because we matched that, and this monster would run away. It goes to the bottom of the pile, which means we don't get the monster for the end game, which might be giving us points. Now instead, you might only see match one symbol on the monster. If you do that, then you flee. And if you flee, then basically the wilderness phase is over for you, and you got to wait for other players to sort of finish their wilderness phase. Now again, if you did defeat this monster, getting all 4 of these, you get to keep this, which is going to give you some points at the end of the game, but you also can decide if you want to fight another monster with the dice that you did not use to allocate to this. And you'd have to pull it from the same location. Now once everyone's done with the wilderness phase, you go to the town phase and you place your standees from turn order here. Then you're going to go to different spots around the board, and these spots are shown here, all the individual spots that you can go to. This is sort of like worker placement, where you'll place a person, your little character there, and then you'll do whatever that spot allows you to do. And they do all sorts of different things. Like this one allows you to select any 2 of these of increasing your max health, or getting any trophy, or giving yourself more capacity for more trophy jars, or collecting 2 random trophies, which will use this trophy die to see which ones you're actually getting. This allows you to gain another standard die, and you get to refresh. So let's say we had used this ability last round or whatever, we can flip this over and now this is available to us again. This spot allows us to transfer or convert a normal standard die into a special die of your type. Now I might select this one because this one has a lot of axes on there, and if you remember, my double-headed axe item that we have allows that to become 2. So some strategies between what your items are and which types of special dice you can get. There's all sorts of different, there's a special dice of each of the colors. You also get a random trophy here as well. Maybe you'll go here to refresh all your health and refresh your items and collect a random trophy. Now maybe you want to do a villager quest. Now you can only go here if you can fulfill this. Maybe I discard this trophy off my board to fulfill this because I could do either one of these things. Now when you fulfill a quest, you get to place this next to your player board. Now these are going to be going towards some of your secret goals and stuff for possible points, but you'll also get to draw 3 item abilities and keep 1. So maybe I selected this cool boom blade, and if I roll any 3 of these, it allows me to defeat a monster, which is really cool because that might combo well with my other item there. Now if I get a last item here and I fill this up, I can get any 1 trophy that I want. Now if you go here, it's the Huntmaster quest. Now what you have to do is discard 2 trophies, so 2 of these blue ones, or 1 and 1, or 1 and 1. So in this case you have to give both of them up, but you're able to place this near your board, and again, like this was a special, this gives me extra points at the end of the game. So I might discard this and this from my board in order to take this. Then we get to draw 3 of these training and select one of them. So maybe I selected this lucky hit, and anytime I get a wild, it actually has 2 wilds. And if we end up filling this up, this is a way to get another standard die. So some engine building there a little bit. Now you'll keep going through the wilderness and town phases until a certain amount of these encounter decks are empty, depending on the amount of players. Then you're going to get points based upon your quests. So you're going to get points for each of your quests, plus each of your defeated monsters. But you're also going to get them sometimes for abilities, and then your secret quests. So for every claw, I'm additionally going to be getting 1 on your monsters or your quests. The hooks, I'm going to get some points. But you might be losing points from your KOs as well, but whoever has the most points at the end is the winner. Well, there you have Attack of the Snacks, and as I showed in the overview, you'll be utilizing your items, training, and how best to use your trophies to have the most points in the end. Now if you'd like to see the most up-to-date artwork and components and all the different pledge levels available, you can click the link below me in the description of this video. Now that's going to take you directly to the crowdfunding project page, and I'm sure that the creators of Attack of the Snacks would love your support.